Good evening and good weekend. It's a great day out there. We reached the 70s on today, Friday, October 18th. Happy birthday to my son, 12th birthday. Today I want to talk about some sad stuff. We're moving across layer 2 of A.D.I.O. and we are at the center where it all comes together with the words disintegration and ripwim. We'll unpack what ripwim is either today or as we resume next Monday with Tic Tac A.D.I.O. We'll be doing this during the weekdays. And I have said before that people are dying to hear this information, and I mean that because about a year ago I found myself at not one, not two, but 3 funerals, all for young men, back to back to back. Upper right, friend from chiropractic college. Bottom, friend from elementary and high school growing up. And then there on the memorial bench at the state fair in front of the birthing center, my second cousin. And in fact, there's a rainbow, 2 rainbows going through his picture. There was no moisture. There was no sprinklers going. It was just one of those things that was captured. 2 rainbows going right through his photo. In fact, his mom had texted me 2 days ago because that was the anniversary of his passing and sent me a photo of a rainbow and a cool story to accompany it. And what I found myself doing at these funerals, and it was great to see everybody, but it was sad that it was because someone had died that brought us all together. What I found myself trying to comfort people with was what I had found solace in after the unfortunate passing of my godfather back in 2018. And the story goes like this. It was 2018, April 14th, actually the day after, April 15th. Our daughter was born with special needs, and my dad passed on in 2014, coming up on about 10 years ago in a couple of weeks. And, I was looking for consolation, and so I called my godfather, and basically he cheered me up, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Jim, if God saw fit to bring a child like this to you and Kim, then he must think that you're pretty special parents." And that's exactly what I needed to lift myself up. Daughter being born with special needs, and if I didn't mention it, and that way I could, stay in the game and be a support to my wife and my son as we were getting to used to our new normal. Sadly, however, within a couple of weeks, he went missing, and that's me on the right-hand side. I'd always looked up to him up till about 20 years old. Nobody funnier, cooler, more athletic, tons of friends, beautiful family. And I know that he had struggled with alcoholism. I thought he was doing better, but that's what happened. And at the funeral, about a month and a half after, April 14th, because this Facebook post was from May 1st, from Oklahoma, a missing person and all that. And, his widow told me at the funeral that he was proud that I had called, but sadly he felt his life was already disintegrating at that point. And so when we go back to this right here, right in the center, disintegration versus ripwim. What is ripwim? Well, it has to do with integration, but I think we're going to cover that on a different day. I don't want to give you too much left brain and right brain stuff. But as far as integration and the opposite of disintegration goes, I want to give you a couple of tips on what I think are 2 of the best ways to become functionally integrated, or purposefully or intentionally integrated, to get your mind right and your emotions and your connection on all levels ready to go, ready to have a great day. there's this acronym called SAVERS, and I got this from a book called Miracle Morning, and to me this is functional integration. SAVERS stands for silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, resting, and scribing. Excuse me, not resting, but reading and scribing or writing. And I've put some examples down there in sticky notes as to what I do. But to me, this is functional integration because there's a series of small steps, small momentous steps. When a child is swimming, it's got the floaties on, mommy, look at me, taking the floaties off. I'm going from the 3-foot end to the 5-foot to the deep end. And adults need that sense of momentum as well. So SAVERS is something that anybody can do, and it's a gradual buildup. It's a gradual momentum. In fact, I just thought of this. I might have some kind of maybe a 21-day SAVERS challenge or a functional integration challenge of getting your day started right so that you can, as the author said, be ready to have an awesome day all by 8 o'clock in the morning. And there's a lot of research that went into those key steps. So that's one thing, to get yourself connected and ready for a really good day and to maybe redeem some of the time that you had either wasted or kind of spun in a circle. And hopefully now that you are learning to better go back and recoup, as we've said, when you start in care, your spine's trending upward and to the right, but there was a downward trend. To recoup some of that stuff, some of that absence of aspiration or inclination because your spinal health had been getting the best of you. This is a wonderful, wonderful way of being part of a community that is lifting each other up and committed to living on higher purpose. Let's put it that way. And the other thing that I recommend is journaling. Now, this is a sample of journaling that I started doing back in the year 2017. And it's a good thing because in 2018, my godfather's passing and our daughter being born were just 2 out of 5 like big life sorts of things that happened for us that year. And that's before COVID, and that's before moving my family across country and starting a new practice and selling my old practice. So this journaling procedure, which I had resolved to begin in 2017 as a means of connecting my dots, because I did not want my journals anymore to be a memorial to good ideas and aha moments. I wanted to actually be able to connect my dots. I knew that in order to do that, I had to make things ridiculously simple in this journaling procedure. So, this is even more simplified than what it actually, a lot of the chicken scratch that ends up in the journals. But fundamentally, it's a date, and one of the best times to journal, unless something smacks you across the head as, wow, I got to write that down, is right away in the morning. Now, for me, that's kind of easy because I'm usually in a bad mood for first thing in the morning. And so I just take an inventory of what my emotions are. And, and I usually find a negative emotion and I write it down and I describe it. And then I think of the opposite emotion, and that's the arrow up. And then after that, I have a takeaway. What did I learn? What did I just reverse engineer? I had a strong feeling of maybe, just go through the alphabet. Anxious, blue, crushed, depressed, empty, fearful, greedy, hesitant, insecure, jittery, know nothing, lonely, mortgaged, nervous, overwhelmed, perplexed. I've memorized this because my mom sent me an email in 2006 that I actually opened. It was a chain email, and it was one of the smartest things I ever read. It was spiritual vitamins. And you just go through this checklist of emotions, and whatever one you resonate with, there was a Bible verse to accompany it. Now, you don't have to, say a Bible verse to yourself, but, that would potentially be very efficient because, as we said before, with A.D.I.O, you cannot solve a problem with the same Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking that existed when it was created. A.D.I.O. says, perhaps, you cannot solve a problem with the same layer of being that existed when it was created. This is the science, art, and philosophy of A.D.I.O. It's one of a kind. It's kind of borrowed from other things. There's really nothing new here, but the organization of this is very unique, and I hope that it's very impactful. Well, that's all I want to share with you today and leave you with that. We're working our way across the tic-tac-toe board, and we're going to resume on Monday, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great weekend.